Wonderful people. What's up? What's up? How are y'all doing today? It's a beautiful day for music. It's a wonderful day for sound. I have my computer over here. I'm going to be answering some questions. We're going to be doing a little bit of chit chatting. We're going to be doing a little bit of drumming. It's going to be a wonderful time today. We're going to be exploring some Hertas. Do you guys eat cereal? Is that a thing, like, for people? Mmm. A little bit of a pre-drumming snack and things. Anyway, so today we're going to be doing Hertas in kind of three different ways. We're going to be hitting them up in a triplet format. We're going to be doing kind of a 16th note format. We're going to a little something in between and whatever else we have. Marcus Little, what's up, babe? I listened to some of your music, man. It's some cool stuff. You said one of them was a cover of a cover, and I'm like, oh man, we're going deep in here. And things. So I really like checking out new music. I really like checking out independent artists and stuff. I really only listen to the radio maybe once or twice a month or so, just so I can keep up with some of the stuff that's happening and things. So, anyways, let's start some jams, man. First of all, I hope everybody's staying safe. I hope everybody is giving all the kudos to the first responders and nurses and doctors out there. Hope you guys are really keeping your heads up and stuff. It's going to be a little bit of a long haul for us, but I think we're going to make it. Anyway, so what I have here is a 16th note construct. So I'm thinking about 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a beautiful 16th notes, right? And then what I'm going to be doing is putting a diddle or a double on the downbeat of that for one measure. So I have 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1, right? And then for that next measure, so measure 2, I'm going to be playing the same exact rhythm. All I'm going to be doing here is changing the diddle to actual single strokes. So right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Yeah? So it's going from the diddles to this. Let's put those back to back. 2 and T and then go and it's kind of my goal here, especially when I'm playing all of this, for my 6 to be nice and reboundy. I really don't want any extra pressure in my hands. The only pressure that I have is that little bit of finger tug, that little bit of activation of my fulcrum when I actually go to play the double on whichever hand it presents itself. When I'm playing the actual Herta, what I really want to make sure is that my sticks kind of stay in motion. I'm not really stopping my sticks at any point of the stroke or at any point of the actual exercise. I'm not playing it down like that. I'm playing all of them to where they rebound. So they all stay up. Right? Now, that's the very first pattern. There's a few different places we can go here. We can move along to the second double, as far as the second partial, or we can go back and actually put this in sort of a gridding sort of format, which is exactly what we're going to do right now. So, I have the 4s, which is what I just did. And I'm going to break that down and just do 2s. So 2 of each thing. 2 of the diddles. Herta. And then I'm going to break it down and do the 1. So I have 1 of each thing. Single. 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 Yeah? Let's take the whole exercise, and I'll try to kind of coach us along when we actually do it here. Going nice and slow. And what I'm going to do is kind of progressively speed it up as we sort of move along here. I'm only, for those of you who kind of follow me, a lot of times I do the 4s twice through. For this particular purpose, I'm only going to do the 4s once through. A lot of people are very familiar and common with that, right? Here it is. 1 and 2 And notice on the ones, you have it off of the right hand, right, right, and then you have it off of the left hand, left, left. Yeah? Let's try it again, same tempo. 1 and 2 and ready and go and single, twos, single, repeat, ones, a little bit quicker. Ready and go. Twos, ones, again, ready and go. Twos, ones, right, right, left, left. Cool, cool, cool. What's up, what's up? What is that, Michelle, Michael? I can't read. The words are so small. Either way, what's up? Thank you for checking in. If you guys have any comments, any questions, definitely hit me up and things. Fun to follow along. Awesome. Alec James, what's up? Where did I march? I marched after high school. I went to Jacksonville State University. It's in Alabama. And I did the marching band there. And then I did a Spirit Drum and Bugle Corps. At that particular point, they were out of JSU, right? And then after that, I did 2 years at Music City Mystique in 2005 and 2006. After that, I started teaching a bunch of different places and everything, but most of my teaching has been here in Georgia with Alliance Drum and Bugle Corps. It was the DCA group. Taught there from 2008 until like 16 or something like that. And then Atlanta Quest is a WGI group. Here, I taught there from around 2008 to around 2015 or so. And of course, Atlanta CV is another DCA group. Normally I'll come in and do some consultations and things with them also. So yeah, super, super fun for me. All right, so let's go ahead and move along to the second partial now. So that was the first partial of the 16th note Herta business. Let's move along to the second one, following the same exact kind of format and everything. James, that's awesome. Yeah, I really enjoyed my time there. If you guys ever have a chance to march, you should definitely do it. I know it's the situation for this summer and this winter, as far as this particular season is concerned, is super, super sad. I have a lot of former students who are in that boat of having their season canceled, and it's not fun, right? And things. So this is now the second actual partial. So I have yeah. So that diddle is going to be on the left hand first. And then I have the single. Let's just try the fours just a few times at a nice comfortable tempo. 1 and 2 and ready and go and again, ready and go and let's do the twos again. Ready and go and let's do the ones. Yeah. 2 1. Ready and go and whole thing. Single. Twos. Ones. partial of the 16th notes, right? And then that was the second partial. Now, in your own time, you can go ahead and learn the third partial. You can learn the fourth partial, either just repeating the fours or going all the way through with the twos and the ones in a sort of traditional gritting format and things. JT Drummer, what's up? What's up? We're just hanging out. We're doing a little bit of drumming. I'm apparently also eating cereal. What's y'all's favorite cereal? For me, Honey Bunches of Oats. It's like the old guy cereal. That's how I roll. There's nutrients in here. Maybe. Probably not. Haven't eaten a lot. Cocoa Puffs? I'm down with the puff. It turns that milk, that brown. Any tips for improving the relax of the strips? Sorry for my English. Greetings from Italy. Honeycombs? Okay. Alright, that's the best part. That's what it is, man. Alright, so tips for helping out with the rebound of your stroke is, I would say, to go too far to that side, right? Just as with most things, theoretical thought, religion, political thought, whatever. We have to swing too far to one side and then too far to the other side to eventually kind of end up in the middle. So for me, if I'm really trying to have my stroke to be nice and relaxed, I'm going to end up opening up my hands just too much, like octopus, super flabby, like jello fish kind of motion. And what that will eventually do is, sure, it'll get to the point that you won't have as much control, and your rhythms will be slurred, and you'll be fast and slow and everything in between, but it'll put you in a position where your hands are more relaxed, and then you can kind of whittle your way to figure out where exactly your pressure needs to be, and then you can sort of tighten up, not really tighten up, but have a more firm grip when you need it sometimes. If you're playing stuff that's a little bit quicker, and then immediately kind of go back to sort of a middle ground between being too floppy, like you've been practicing, hopefully, if you're trying to relax or loosen up and things. So swing all the way to one side, and don't be afraid to be playing out of time. Don't be afraid to play like your heights don't look beautiful and all of those things. Just completely too much, right? And things. One of the things I like to do, especially if I'm doing something like accent tap, so two heights, is I'll play it where all of it is just floppy. Right? Of course, the inner beats or the non-accident notes, they were way too big, but it allowed for me to relax my hand and have a nice sort of jello type of open hand feeling. And then eventually, what I would do is get that faster and faster, and then go back and see, okay, I just want to play those unaccented notes like this much smaller, but try to have the same amount of relaxation. So I'll kind of go through that little bit of a process to see. Hopefully that kind of answered your question and things. Peterson, what's up, what's up? How do you play alternating flams fast without tensing up? I think it's kind of the same thing as what I was just saying there. Alec. When I first started kind of doing it, I like to think about them as kind of just accent taps, or what some people call bucks, right? So just do too much, right? Like the idea of kind of pulsing one of the notes and then letting the other note just kind of fall where it does, right? And things. So just one bigger note, and all I'm doing is putting just like 5 to 10% more energy behind it without squeezing in my actual fulcrum, right? And things. And then once I get used to that, I'll probably try to do it with both hands. Just not even really think about them as flams, but kind of like double stops. That kind of idea. Once again, it's nice and loose. I'm not really trying to do this. I'm not trying to do that. And then I'll get to the point where I can just alternate them, right? So nice and big, unaccented notes. Don't worry about the contrast at the moment, at least, right? So it's still big, big, big. And even here, I'm not really too worried about trying to keep them as exact double stops because I think the flams will start to kind of fall into place just because of the inaccuracies of how floppy it is. Floppy. Right? So that business is happening. And then eventually you can start to speed that up. So don't worry about trying to play them sort of stagnant in their positioning and things. One of the reasons we call it floppies is because of that particular definition of the motion. I can play flams that are alternating without it being a floppy. So if I played my flams like this, it's not really a floppy until I sort of relax it and I have that sort of bouncy, reboundy sort of motion. Hopefully that helped you. There. Okay, yeah, awesome. What's my favorite hybrid rudiment? Oh man. If you want to call it a hybrid rudiment, I would say it's either a touchita, right, which just means that I'm putting the flam on the middle, in between the accent, or what some people would call a ninja, right? I think Pete Sapadin is one of the first people I've seen play it, even though I was playing it before I saw other people playing it. There are plenty of people like before me who did it, so I didn't come up with it or whatever, but all it is it's like two flams in the middle. I like the way it feels just because of kind of the waterfall type of motion. And a lot of times you'll see me play phrases that'll have touchitas and ninjas in there, that kind of stuff. It excites me. Anyways, so hopefully hopefully that kind of answered some of your questions. If you guys have any other questions, definitely hit me up. I'll be here for a little while. It's a beautiful day for music. It's a wonderful day for sound. And also cereal, right? So anyways, about the Hertas. So we did that first partial. We did the second partial in a kind of gridding 4-2-1 sort of pattern. Of course, go back and do it on the third partial. So on and so forth. Do it on the last partial. So on and so forth. Don't be afraid to start it nice and slow. Ooh, the S word, no. Don't be afraid to start it nice and slow. You'll get it. I believe in you and things. And of course, go through. Technically, it's not a Hertz anymore, but do it within a 5-stroke kind of construct. So have the right. So go back and try to mess with those. It helped me when I first started doing that type of pattern to put a little bit of an accent or sort of like an agogic sort of push at the beginning of those. So if I have the 5s here, that sort of helped me have a little bit of a push towards the beginning, and then I was able to slowly back off of that and play it a little bit more flat and be a little bit sort of relaxed, with it and things. I don't know what that is. Dwight, is that, it looks like a house and things. Nobody you know says not slow. Oh, I know, it sucks. I tell people though, I take joy in my journey, and there's a lot of things that are sort of mundane, and a lot of things that are kind of ritualistic that I really find comfort in. And practicing the slow stuff is kind of one of those. You know, I'm one of the people who really like I like the smell of carpentry, right? Some people like the house, but I like the process of building a house. It's something that really excites me. When I go to basketball games, I really like to watch their warm-ups. Like I like to watch them do the passing drills. I like to watch them do the layup drills and that kind of stuff. Watching how people do that and the excellence that they can have on very simple things, a lot of times will give you a little glimpse into the future, give you a little premonition as to what's going to happen when the heat gets turned up and what's going to happen when there's more responsibility put on an actual person. Yeah, taking things slow, definitely. What's up, Brent? When I was younger, I refused to play slow. It took me 22. Remember the 75%? Yeah, that's what happens, man. Some of the best players I've known are some of the people who had that kind of discipline to just slow it down and to be totally fine with it. A lot of times when you show up to various WGI and drum corps auditions and things, there'll be people there who can play stuff. Excuse me. There'll be people there who can play stuff fast, and they have hands. They can just do a lot of the stuff, but a lot of times you don't really even get to that stuff until like the last round. And you'll see some of the people who have the physical dexterity and endurance, who are feeling really good about themselves, but then when they put that metronome on like 60 at the Cavaliers camp, and you're like, no, it really gets some people. So the people with the fastest hands or the most endurance don't always sort of end up on top in those situations and things. Hopefully that helped you out and things. What do we have here? Where did I get the beat? Baby ZZ, I've been doing production and video for a very long time. So I've written for plenty of commercials, BMW, Toyota, Heinz ketchup, various other things. So I've been a producer. Actually, have a few albums out. I've done children's albums under the name Soulful Baby. I have a rap type album out under the name Morning Hawk. So I do all types of production, corporate, commercial, whatever, children's songs, and sort of rap production, hip hop, trap kind of stuff. And then of course, it helps me out in this type of situation when I'm either writing or arranging for marching bands, and or when I'm just making backing tracks for my actual videos and things. My media company is called MarcusHawkinsMedia.com. You can go check it out. Hopefully that helped. When I was learning the 5 grid earlier, I took it at like 70 beats per minute first. Yeah, that's crazy helpful. Just bra ba 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 boom, bra ba 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 boom, bra ba da da do, bra ba, and then just find it almost like a meditative kind of vibing state to get to the point where you take joy in just sitting and being okay with the slow and the beautiful, right? It's like the blossoming of a good relationship. You're not trying to take it fast because you're looking for marriage, you know? You're not just looking for like a hookup or whatever. RIP, yeah, the DCI 2020 season. I was really looking forward to it too because a lot of people were going to come out swinging. And for me, I really enjoy watching a lot of people over the summer. I've worked a few shows for Flow Marching. I'm the guy who's kind of down the field running A2, which stands for Audio 2. So there's a guy up top who's doing the audio mixing, and then there's a guy down bottom who's kind of handling technical issues and moving around microphones and things like that. So I've done A2 for Flow Marching for a little bit, so I get a chance to see the people like right up close. I get to see all of their front ensembles. It's really, really cool to see a lot of that stuff. So I'm kind of bummed about not getting a chance to see that this year. And the rest of the WGI season, yeah, man, I was really pulling for, of course, my home team here in Atlanta Quest. I still talk to a lot of those guys. I'm still really friends with a lot of them. I just don't have a lot of time to go there and teach anymore. and stuff, but they were doing wonderful things. Their hands were looking awesome, and it seemed really like their show was coming together well. Of course, I was rooting for my peoples at Music City Mystique and things, but man, oh, it's just all the potential is just kind of let down, and that's really sad because a lot of people are really working hard and stuff. I am excited though that they get an extra season and things, and hopefully some of you guys will be in there if you're still of age and whatnot. Let's talk a little bit about some of these Hertas that are in a triplet format. Woo, 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 woo. So, it's going to happen in kind of the same way. Money Heist season. What in the world? What is that? Have some firecrackers on there. Anyway, so within this actual triplet construct here, what I have is a downbeat ditto, and then I go into the same type of Hertz thing. So, right? Let's take that just nice and slow, the same tempo, just the fours. 1, 2, ba 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 ba. 2, ready, and right? That part's nice and easy now, and I will say about the triplets, it's a little bit easier for sometimes people to grasp onto because the hand that you're doing the Herta off of is the same hand that you have the diddle on, at least initially, right? The Herta doesn't alternate in between your hands, if that makes sense. Okay, so a lot of times people can sort of grasp onto this one a little bit easier. How long have you been learning or playing percussion? I started off playing, I guess like middle school officially, but I was banging around and doing things and started playing in my church fairly early. And I think that church situation got me to really play music, a drum set, well before, you know, the hot cross buns and all of the other kind of monotony got to me. And my church was kind of advanced a little bit. We were doing mixed meter stuff, tempo changes, you know, dynamics. They didn't call it dynamics, but, you know, I was forced to learn things really quickly because there was not like a youth band. I was playing for the grown-ups, and anytime I messed up, all of them stopped clapping and they were like looking, and it was very embarrassing and my face got hot and stuff. So it was a very good learning experience for me. I just got thrown into the fire super early and stuff. It did take me a little bit to learn music just because I learned it by ear at first, and I couldn't find a connection between what I was playing and then what I saw on the paper. So that was definitely one of the things that I had to kind of struggle with a little bit and whatnot. So I've been playing for a pretty good while. How long have I been learning? I'm still learning now, right? I still watch tutorials. I still drum with other people on YouTube and Instagram and wherever else. I still learn. Some people's licks, I don't have a whole lot of time on my hands all the time, but yeah, I'm always learning. Whatever it is, I'm a lover of sound, so I don't think that's ever gonna stop and things. Anyway, so moving on. So I have two sort of options here. I can choose to take that one pattern in a 4-2-1 grid situation, but for this one, just so we can mix it up here, what I'm going to do is actually move along to the second one, right? So the second partial. So this, and then the Herta. Yeah? Let's just take the second pattern by itself. 2, ready and go, and dum da dum dum da dum dum da dum 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 da dum 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 dum. 2, ready and go, and dum da dum dum da dum dum da dum dum da dum 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 dum. 2, ba 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 bo, dum da dum da dum dum da dum 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 dum. 2, ba 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 bum. Yeah? So, being that we just moved on to the second partial, what I'm going to do here is take it back and do the first one and the second one back to back, so 4 measures total. Let's do it. 1, 2, ba 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 ba. The second. 2, hey, 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 hey. 2, hey, 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 hey. Cool. We'll move on to the third one here, or at least the third partial. You should do a tutorial on staking techniques, cross sticks, high moms, all of the business. Yeah, there's a lot of people who do that on the internet, and it's not, I love it, right? Like when I'm playing licks and things and I'm just messing around, I'll do a lot of that stuff. It's very entertaining. I might do something like that, right? A lot of times for me, I like to take sort of the path that maybe other people aren't taking sometimes. So being that there's a prevalence of a lot of people doing like a lot of the stick tricks and stuff, I didn't really find a need to just add my voice to the pot of the stick trick jams, right, and things, even though I really do love them, and I play a lot of stick tricks when I'm just jamming and doing stuff. So I don't know, I might do it if people are kind of interested in that. There are plenty of people out there who are really good at it though, so this is kind of something to check out and things. I might, we'll see, and things. Anyway, so thank you for coming and checking it out. Some animated geek. I love the names. I need to change my name to something cool. Well, I'm probably not, but I'll start a secret channel and have a way cooler name and put up like cat videos or something, right? Anyway, so let's do the third partial of the actual triplet business. We'll take it nice and slow. So bum 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 bum, that speed. And 1 2 2 bay 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 bay. Bum 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 bum. Bay 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 bay. Bum 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 bum. 2 bay 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 bay. Bum 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 bum. I marched MCM in 2005 and 2006, both on the snare drum. 1 2 bay 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 bay. Bum 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 bum. 2 bay 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 bay. Bum 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 bum. 2 bay 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 bay. Bum 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 bum. 2 bay 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 bay. Bum 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 bum. Boom, bay 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 bay. Bum 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 bum. 2 bay 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 bay. Bum 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 bum. Yeah, a nice blooper reel. I always cut those out of the videos and things. Anyway, so nice recovery, box sticks. It's on a rolling here. For real though, about recovery, I tell people that it's maybe possible that I'm a little bit crazy, but my hands are sort of like workers to me. Like they're not, I'm not gonna say that they're not important, but my brain tells them what to do. That sounds like a weird statement, and people are like, oh, of course, we all know that. Without a brain, you sort of couldn't move your hands. But for me, even when my hands mess up, my brain can keep going. Like I can hear and sing the correct parts, even when my hands are doing not the correct parts. So then my hands have to sort of sync themselves to what I'm singing, or it has to sync itself to what's actually happening in my brain. So it's kind of, they're the last in line, if that makes any sense, as far as the say-so of what's happening. My brain will play the correct parts as if it's like the radio, and then my hands are a lot of times are the bottleneck, right? A lot of times what I'm hearing, my hands have to catch up to it and things. So even if I drop a stick or mess up, the part is still going on in here, and I'm not like lost or whatever and stuff. I know that might sound weird for people sometimes, whatever. So let's take it back now and do the first partial, the second partial, and the third partial back to back. We'll go a little bit slow at first, and then we'll kind of speed it up a little bit. Impressive, that maybe a little bit. We'll go to speed. Dum 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 dum. 1, 2, bay 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 bay. Dum 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 dum. So with those, of course, you can go back and do 2s, the 1s, grids of jams. You can add various flams and buzzes and accents and whatever's to it and stuff. And just like with the 16th notes that we did earlier, you can sort of get outside of, I guess, the Herta realm and start to think about them as kind of singles. So you can take it as like 5s also. So that was weird on that second pattern and things, but so you can do sort of the downbeat 5s, upbeat 5s, and then inside out 5s, right? Sometimes the inside out 5s get a little bit weird, especially if you're doing them 4-2-1, like the turnarounds from that single into the double. It'll get you go, right? And things. Love the videos. Oh, thanks. Thank you. Right? Yeah, hopefully we'll be putting out a whole lot more videos and things and stuff. And as always, just as a personal plug, go hit up my Patreon page. A lot of the backing tracks and the PDFs and whatever else that people want, I give all of that away there and things. People have been trying for years to get me to like put out a book or whatever, and I'm like, nah, not really for me. There's plenty of books out there as far as method books and things, but I prefer just to go with the model of giving all of my stuff away for free, or at least like 98% of it, and then 2% of it can be kind of donation based if people do want to help me out, especially in times like this, because musicians are out there struggling and things. Hopefully not me. It is. I have lost a lot of money though, right? A lot of money and things. Thank you guys for hanging with me and stuff. Tell me this: who did you think was gonna rule the roost in drums for drum corps this year? Right? Who's gonna come in and slam? Who's gonna do it? All right. I also want to know who's gonna come in and run the game in WGI. I was so excited to see all the videos. I would sit and rewind them and slow them down and check out all the people's licks and things. And it was some cool stuff. It was some really cool stuff happening out there. It is possible that Broken City, son! Those dudes are hot, man. They're so good. So it was possible. I don't know. I've been kind of messing around with the idea of actually learning some of the people's licks and then teaching that as a few of the Learning This Lick series. I'm not sure if you guys have checked that out. If you haven't, it's just me teaching kind of beat by beat various licks that are nice and short, stuff that you can actually learn in a little 20-minute or 30-minute time slot and things. Sometimes people ask why the licks aren't longer. I don't want to have like an hour tutorial and it just take up that much time for a lot of people. So get in, get out, good information, and it's just there. Got the opportunity to see their show in person. Oh man, they're so good. Their touch on the drum is just so beautiful, and I really like the relaxation. I really like the way that their parts are written. With Mike Jackson, I love the way that Roger Carter teaches, right? I play with his sticks and things. They're sort of my go-tos now. For the most part, what sticks do you guys play with out there? I am a Big Firth education artist and things, so obviously I'm playing with Big Firth sticks, but I've pretty much played with all the companies, and there's great choices out there from everybody, right? Awesome choices out there for everybody and things. Adam Watt's voice, man, oh, that dude it's so, to me, Adam Watt's voice is very I guess contemplative. Like it's sort of serious, but it has this kind of floating, ambient nature to it, right? Like everything he says, almost like he's like the living Buddha. Like his voice is just very kind of zen and things. ATL Drum Academy, what's up? Mr. Riles in the house. We've just been doing some Hertas, been doing some chit chat, been talking. Right now we're just having a little talk about who was going to show up and rule the roost in drum corps this summer and in WGI if it wasn't canceled. And we already have a vote for Broken City. They're amazing. And thanks, I really like it. From Russia, what's up? Russia in the house. Cool. I'm not actually sure if I've ever been to Russia. I traveled for a bunch of years doing corporate gigs and things, and we went some of everywhere and whatnot. And I'm not sure if I'll have to see. I don't know. It was a whole lot of places. What's in the bowl? We're the zebra cakes. Oh, the zebra cakes, baby, they slap. Zebra cakes hit different. They hit different, right? In my bowl, we had a conversation about cereal. So this is cereal. I actually don't normally eat cereal, but this is kind of my pre-dinner, right? My pre-dinner. So I have some honey bunches of oats. It's like old people's cereal at this point, but it's delicious. I like them. And stuff. What's your favorite cereal, Riles? What is it? If you guys haven't checked out Atlanta Drum Academy's YouTube channel, go hit them up. They're on Instagram also. He said, facts. Pulse had a very solid show. Man, Applejacks, boo! Man, Pulse is good. They've been good for a long time. And I'll say, I remember seeing them take that switch. I guess it would have been in between 2006 and 2007, and they just came out swinging in 2008. And then from there, they just kept going up and up and up and up. But if you guys don't know what the power of good composition can do for your group, go back and watch Pulse's shows like before 2006 or 7. Go back and watch them before the team came in there, before Grom and Mapes sort of came in and took over. It was definitely a different group. Now, I will say I haven't always been a fan of apples or apple products. I do like applesauce and I like apple pie, but apple cereal and things like that. I like apple juice too. Maybe it's just Apple Jacks. They're terrible. Boo! Found your channel about a year ago, Larry put music beats practicing together. Something loves better. Just listen to the metronome. Woo, woo, woo! Thank you, Andrew. Any video footage out there that can do like a virtual battle competition? You know, some people actually brought that up as far as having an online kind of thing where they submit like their video, maybe of them doing some warm-ups, and then that will kind of be judged, and then maybe some people doing you know, like a few segments of their show or something like that. I think if most people would have gotten 1 or 2 extra weekends before everything got for real shut down, that would have been a possibility because people were really talking about it. Um, as far as some of the directors and executive directors of the groups and things like that, but they shut down stuff literally. I think when they announced a lot of the school closings, it was like a Wednesday, and a lot of them had to fight to just kind of get back into the school to have a final performance just for their friends and families on that Saturday. So it happened so quick. A lot of them didn't even really get good video and a good recording of the show that they did have. So it was very sad for a lot of people and things. Trying to put together some sort of virtual drum corps or something. Oh yeah, I did see that. There's a few things I've seen on Facebook or other things that I guess people are trying to like write a show and they'll have it like kind of like a virtual choir, something kind of like that Eric Whitaker did. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with him. He's one of the most prolific choral composers out there, and he put together this virtual choir where he wrote this piece and he sent out the parts and anybody could submit a video, and then he has this big video block wall of everybody playing the parts and things. You'll notice that some schools are doing that with their bands now. I'm actually editing 3 different videos about that. Shameless plug, MarcusHawkinsMedia.com, right? So I do video and music editing and whatnot. So I'm actually doing 2 of them for some school districts and then 1 of them for the Atlanta Percussion Ensemble, which I'm an actual member of. I play with them. We've yet to have our first concert though because of all of this stuff and things. But it's a lot of really cool professional percussionists here in the Atlanta area that are doing it and things. Did do March and if you do where you're on team. Kai, what's up? By the way, Trevor routines are top notch. Yeah, they take a long time to sort of get to. I marched at JSU, so Jacksonville State University. I was there starting in 2003. So I marched 3, 4, and 5 all on snare drum and things, and I participated in every ensemble possible when I was there. I played for like 8 different churches and whatnot. I do play guitar a little bit out of necessity, so I did lead worship at a few different places and things, but I marched Spirit Drum and Bugle Corps in 2004 on snare drum, and then Music City Mystique in 2005 and 6 on snare drum also. So that's what that is. Andrew, where did you guys march, man? Tell me some jams, right? If you guys marched anywhere, or if you're planning on going to actually try out somewhere, definitely hit it up in the comments and things. I loved my time, especially at MCM. It changed my life. It changed the way that I thought about sound and music. There are a lot of very thoughtful and prolific people that really changed my viewpoint of the marching arts and stuff. So it's really, really cool. Auditioning for Phantom 2015. Cool. United Percussion. Woo, woo, woo. Infinity. So not top notch. Man, I'll tell you, some of my favorite shows that I end up seeing at WGI finals are some of the A shows and some of the high school shows, just because you can't hide behind the hands. There's a lot of groups that the performers are so strong that you can just park them and they can just play, and the playing is beautiful, and that can speak for itself, some of the other groups just can't do that, right? The kids don't have the ability just to ram and to do a whole lot of stuff. So you have to be very clever, and you have to kind of have this slow smoked kind of flavor as opposed to like bam, heat, So a lot of groups don't have that in their arsenal. So a lot of the better shows to me are the ones that have a little bit of like chops, sure, but then the show is just good and stuff. Q2 2020, whoop, whoop, whoop. Music City Drum Corps this fall. Yeah, it's awesome people there. Really, really cool teachers. Roommate from Michigan State Skyline. Michigan's good, man. They're real good. Michigan's good. And things. Yeah, I checked them out online sometimes. Shout out for tenors, but it was really competitive. Yeah, there's some really good players in those lines every single year, and that's been like that for years and years and years, right? I remember being in college and checking them out on the internet and things just to see what other people were doing and stuff. Open audition for the academy, and okay, yeah. I don't really know who's at the academy anymore, as far as the actual drum staff and things, but yeah, it should be really cool. And I think, hmm, I think Phantom had a little bit of a mix up in their actual drum staff, but I think at least the top of the caption kind of stayed the same and things. Really cool stuff there. Wherever I like to say wherever people can march, at least to get the experience and go out there and do it, and you'll always kind of have that on your resume, and you'll always have those memories. It's really hard. You'll get used to the physical stuff, but it's just showing up mentally, trying to push yourself every single day, even on parts that you think are perfect or whatever. Just constantly approaching stuff that's more and more in depth to the sound and trying to balance and blend and whatever else. Marcus, do you have any tips for beginner percussionists? Whoop, 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 whoop. Sophomore high school student, just joined my school band this year. Uh, Wait. Instructor, but he left in a hurricane. Everybody up on myself. Cool. Hey, so for whatever reason, my feet stopped on here. Let me check this real quick. Oh, okay. Yeah, that got weird. All right. So, um, anyway, so if you're a beginner percussionist, what I would do is focus on the simple stuff, right? Just find very simple exercises and try to hit those up and sort of balance and blend that with endurance and chop building exercises, right? And I would kind of alternate days. So one day you put that metronome on 60 and you're just working on just timing exercises, right? And just try to get inside the subdivisions, almost like in a meditative, relaxed kind of zen state. And then on the next day, just straight up, to a whole album, like on a pillow or something, or just doubles, like on something that doesn't bounce, or something like that. And just try to alternate days and stay on the same type of concept for like a week at a time, and then move on to something a little bit different, especially being that we have a little bit of time now. So that's kind of my best advice if you're an absolute beginner. Just 100% focused on beautiful clarity and understanding of the depth and the quality of your rhythm. And then on the other side, you're building up your muscle, you're building up your endurance. And hopefully those two things will start to meet as you sort of move along and things. You may be overworking yourself. Oh man, I know about that. mm. You know, when it comes to overworking, you do have to be a little bit. You have to be a little bit cautious, because one thing is that people who do what other people don't do will end up being at the top. Like you will be better than other people, right? Not everybody can push the same amount. Not everybody can have the mental endurance to do something and continuously do that thing for months on end, which end up being years on end and things. You just have to be smart about where your hands are, how much you can push. There was a time that I was pushing way too much as far as how many hours I was practicing a day, and it got to be like 8 or 9 hours. And of course, it wasn't just snare drum and things. It was drum set and marimba and hand drums and all of this other type of stuff. Especially when I was in college, but at a certain point, my right hand was pretty messed up. Even now, it doesn't really move the same way that I want it to all the time. I had tendonitis and everything was like inflamed in my arms, fire. So my last year at Mystique, I spent a lot of time just icing and heating my hands and stretching out every morning. I would get up at like 5 and go to the bathroom like 5 a.m. and just try to like warm up, play eights, and then soak my hands and ice them and warm them and all this stuff just so I could be okay for the day and things. And even over the lunchtime, I would always have to continuously be moving my hands just so they wouldn't ever like cool down and stuff. But just make sure you don't get to the point where you're hurting yourself. So you have to be a little bit aware of that and things. Why didn't Jesus preach basic hygiene, pathology, and disease prevention? I don't know. You have to ask him about that and things. Yeah, that's what it got me doing. Sure. You got to be careful. If you have a lot more time on your hands, you have to know when to rest them, when to just go through and get better at other skill sets like listening or snapping, clapping with the net, whatever that business is. Not always a physical thing. For me, I hate the ceiling. It's messing to pass. It's frustrating to be practicing but not improving. Maybe I was not practicing as much as I needed though. But reading music was also a struggle for me. What tips do you have on reading music? Yeah. For me, since I come from kind of a beatboxing culture, I'm very adamant about singing every single thing that I play. And I learned later on that the strongest rhythmic culture out there, people who are from India who play tabla drums, a lot of them aren't even really allowed to touch the drum until they can sing the part. It's like a rite of passage, right? If you don't have the part in your brain, if you can't articulate that part with your mouth, you have no business actually touching the drum and things. So I come from, of course, a slightly different background, more so on the hip hop kind of on the hip hop level, where the rhythms aren't as intricate. But I grew up just singing and vocalizing all of the parts that I want to happen. People were freestyling and things like that. So it really ended up helping me when I started to play drums, because there's always a way for me to check myself, and there's always a way for me to practice without physically having something in my hands and things. So that's definitely one of the ways that I do it. Just try to read as much stuff as possible. Just get out there and, rhythm. There's plenty of rhythm websites. I think if you just Google it, there's certain types of websites for free. They have like paid memberships, but there's ones that have free portions that you can just type in the parameters if you want quarter notes and eighth notes or some 16th notes or whatever, and it'll come up with a sight reading sort of thing for you. It'll give you a certain amount of seconds, and you can just play it. Just do that over and over. That's always the best kind of deal. Are you familiar with Norfolk snare line? Their technique is pretty clean. Yeah, man, they play very well. They're from Virginia. I'm familiar with some people who sort of come from there, who've kind of moved into Georgia, that's where I live. Sort of a little bit north of Atlanta and things, and I've always enjoyed their lines. I grew up watching a whole lot of HBCUs. Both of my parents went to a place called Fort Valley State University. It's kind of in middle to South Georgia. So we would go to all of the games, and I grew up watching FAMU and Grambling and all of the people at all of their games. So that's kind of the style that I was exposed to first, and I had to kind of slowly enter into other styles after that. Do I have any fun 5-lit groove exercises? I do have. I actually have a backing track and an exercise written for a 5-lit thing that I just haven't recorded, and it's probably because I made it too hard. Don't tell nobody. There's one part that I probably just need to sit down and either rewrite it or just practice it more. But some of it does get a little bit ridiculous, because essentially what I'm doing is I go through the basic grid as far as having a downbeat. So like that business, and then I go through and do 2 accents within the grid. So that kind of thing, and then the first and third, first and fourth, first and fifth, that business. But then I start to offset them, so I have the same kind of 2 accents, but I start on the second one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I do the second and the fourth accent. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the other part that gets weird, though, because I go, and so I do the same type of thing with the third, so the third and fourth accent, the third and fifth accent, that business, and I do the same thing with the fourth, so the fourth and fifth accent, whatever. Part where it gets weird is I start doing other meters within the 5-lit, right? So if I have right, I'm playing threes within the 5-lit construct, and I started to sort of grid a triplet pattern, but in 5-lits. And then I have one that I'm starting to grid a pattern that's in 4, but it's in 5-lits. So that kind of thing, and then I'm moving the grid around. That's the part I'm really having to sort of work on because it's terrible right now. Oh, that's so bad. And I kind of laugh at myself, like, why did I write that? Like you said out loud, I was doing the accents off these found. Wait. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, saying out loud. It's definitely something that helps if you can learn to sort of drum speak, even if it's just the basic digga 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 kind of things. That will really really help you out and whatnot. I'm a beast. I'm not until I can actually play that exercise. Sometimes people don't understand. Like sometimes I'll write exercises for myself that I just don't make it. And so sometimes there actually is too much sometimes. So I have to kind of back off of some of it, and I might save it for later or something like when I actually have a little bit more time to practice and stuff. So I always push myself. Yeah, I do. What people don't see sometimes, maybe I need to just start like a failure list of all the stuff that I've written that I planned on doing a video for that it just didn't happen. Drum is its own language, yeah. And so if everybody has the stuff that they're kind of working on and stuff, bird boat, whoop whoop. Everybody kind of has the stuff that they're kind of working on. And for me, you know, I've done mostly all of the grids that are out there and all of the hybrid grids and things. So it's always just trying to push myself to another level of seeing how comfortable can I become with 5-lits. You know, how comfortable can I become with 7-lits and 9-lits and whatever else. You know, all of the odd sort of groupings. So that's why I'll sort of put myself through those. If you guys checked out roll modulations, I think there's a 1 and a 2 that I ended up putting on YouTube and things, but I think I wrote like 3 or 4 different exercises to that, and 2 of them I just could not play. It was too much as far as, at least for me, without me like really sitting down and like practicing it for a long time. So I just didn't upload those. How do I feel about odd meters? I love odd meters. Even on my personal albums, there's odd meters in a lot of things that I do. I love it. I play a whole lot of drum set. I write a whole lot of songs. We talked about that a little bit earlier. Most of the stuff that I do for some of the commercial stuff that I do, the stuff that I even do for my album and thing. I have a rap album under the name of Morning Hawk, and I have a children's album under the name of Soulful Baby. So with those, there's a lot of kind of mixed meter stuff on there. Am I a Bill Bachman fan? Opie! Woo, 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 woo! Yeah, man. I love Bill Bachman. I've been checking that dude out for years and years and years and years. He's an awesome tenor player. If people don't know Bill Bachman, he's one of the co-creators of the heavy hitter pads by Big Furf. They started making them in their garage back in the day in Southern California. Him and Chris Romanowski. Romo now actually lives here in Georgia, not too far away from where I actually live now. He's an awesome percussion educator. Check him out at some point. He teaches at high schools here and then at Atlanta CD, and then he's one of the DCI judges. He's judged finals before. He's judged WGI and things like that. Super awesome guy and things. But yeah, I'm a Bill Bachman fan. I really like his stuff and things. Feed is messed up. Uh-oh. Yeah. I see. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah. I think my phone is actually gonna run out here in a little bit. I'm like down to 10% and I don't have like an extension cable in here. So hey guys, thank you for hanging with me and whatnot. It's always a beautiful day for music. It's a wonderful day for sound. Go ahead and hit that like button. It helps me out with the actual algorithm for how YouTube pushes out there and stuff. And if you have any other suggestions for different videos that I should do, I might need to jump on those 5lets and whatever else. Definitely hit me up and whatnot. Cool. I'll see you guys later on. Deuce.